where we had double the votes that they had. They're also trying to overturn the results, basically.
No kidding. How would they try to do that?
I think they're saying that there was a clerical error in signing people in, but yeah. So I guess that clerical error means that they can choose their own delegates at this point.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, great.
It's interesting that there was no problem throughout the whole thing, but after their delegates didn't get in, then there's the problem.
This meeting is about the allocation committee is having a hearing to decide whether they're going to allow the District 5 slate of delegates stand, or if they're going to replace them with the Romney slate of delegates. The District 5 won by average 2-to-1 on the vote, and for whatever reason they want to challenge this district. There's a serious conflict of interest. Ed McGrath was one of the delegates that was defeated, and he's on the allocation committee. And one of the challengers, a woman, and I forget her name. I can't pronounce her name, but you know, they're trying to claim that the caucus wasn't run properly, and they ran the caucus themselves. So you know, it's crazy to think that they're going to claim default, but because of their own incompetence.
A person challenged that the signatories' check-in sheet was not done, and therefore the votes are invalid. And what she wants to do is unseat the Liberty slate and then reseat it with an appointed bunch of delegates. So she basically wants to do away with the caucus that was held in Framingham, the District 5 caucus.
Are 9 provisional ballots that were sealed, that were not counted, and those ballots make a difference on who goes to the Florida convention, and they're being held for absolutely no reason whatsoever. I brought them evidence that I was as a matter of fact, I've been on the Republican Town Committee. I have been an elected member of the Republican Town Committee, and I have been a registered Republican, and I brought them documentation from my town clerk that I'm a registered Republican, and they're refusing to count my vote. It's certified, it has the town seal on it, it has the signature of the town clerk, and they're refusing to count my vote because my vote may make a difference on who goes to Tampa. And you know, we're sitting here and we're fighting wars because they have unfair elections. What about the unfair elections here? This is worse than the Soviet Union. We should be worrying about democracy in this country because this country, there's an effort to stamp it out.
Today there was an election on the 28th, and a lot of Republican voters showed up and they tried to elect delegates to the National Convention, and they did. And the Massachusetts Republican Party, their legal counsel, is ruling that some of the voters were not legitimate voters, which I think is totally false. They're real people that showed up, took time out of their life, made a ballot, which the Mass GOP is called provisional, and now they don't want to count them. And so we're here just to ask the legal counsel to please count the votes. This is America. Well, hopefully by having this many people here, we'll be able to show the allocation committee and the people on the committee and the Mass GOP that there's a lot of us. It's more than just a fringe group of 2 or 3 Ron Paul supporters, but it's a lot of people who support the ideas of liberty, and we really believe our voice should be heard and the votes should be counted.
The head of the allocation committee can be potentially affected by the outcome of the decision made here tonight. Do you think that you'll get a fair ruling?
Absolutely not. There's a clear conflict of interest between the General Legal Counsel, Vincent DeVito. He is in District 4. He's on the official Romney slate, and he was elected a delegate, provisionally, of course. I say provisionally because he's ahead by 6 votes over Horace Mello. However, there's 13 provisional ballots, and most of those provisional ballots are disaffected Republicans that had just recently registered Republican. And so we believe that when the ballots are open, this person, Vincent DeVito, would lose. Therefore, we believe it's a clear violation and a clear conflict of interest. We would think as a lawyer that he would understand ethics and that he would recuse himself.
How do you think the allocation committee will deal with the problem of provisional ballots?
I believe they're not going to deal with it at all. I think they're going to try and push the blame off on somebody else. They see so many people out here, they really don't want to be the point of blame for anybody. So rather than 14 targets, we really have one, the general counsel. They need to do their job, recuse themselves, and issue a written opinion on why the provisional ballots and why the people's voices shouldn't be heard at the ballot box. I just think it's a clear conflict of interest. And look, when you do this to people, when they register Republican, when they show up to a caucus, when you don't count their vote in the spring, they're not going to show up in the fall. This is going to have wide-ranging ramifications for all the Republicans on the ticket here in Massachusetts, from Scott Brown down to the local state rep races. They're just not. They're going to stay home in November, and we're going to end up with more of a one-party state.
Say no to fascism? I don't know, that might work too.
Voting's the ultimate authority. That shit doesn't matter.
The solution to the problem
is
11%. I'm from Wisconsin. At least
remind you of Mike Dukakis and not just books.
11%.
Mr. DeVito. Is there a conflict of interest you being on the allocation committee? Why do you want cap and trade?
Green energy, that's a boondoggle. What kind of Republican are you?
America, sir.
I'm